Well, it hasn't been the easiest of weeks for Tony Abbott. For the first time in 7 months, the latest news poll showed Julia Gillard ahead as preferred Prime Minister. Senator Barnby Joyce broke coalition ranks over the sale of Cubbie station to a Chinese consortium. And then, on Wednesday night in Perth, former leader Malcolm Turnbull gave a speech. Here is just a small taste of what he said.
For the last 2 years, the questions from the opposition have been almost entirely focused on people smuggling and the carbon tax. Are they really the only important issues facing Australia? A regular viewer of Question Time would be excused for thinking they were.
Well, joining us for our weekly hit of politics is opposition leader Tony Abbott. Good morning to you.
Good morning, Lisa.
Was that disloyal of Malcolm Turnbull to criticise your performance as opposition leader on Wednesday night so publicly?
Well, he didn't criticise anyone's performance except that of the Prime Minister.
You think he was handing you a bouquet?
Oh, look, what he was saying was that people are interested in subjects other than the carbon tax and boats, and of course they are. But the carbon tax and the border protection failures are the biggest single disasters that this government has presided over.
Have you heard the entire speech?
I read the speech.
Okay,
I read the speech.
Well, let's take everyone through who hasn't read the speech. He denounced monarchists during the 1999 Republic debate, of which you were one of the most prominent. In fact, he described your side as tricky. He denounced those who deny the problems of man-made climate change, of which you are one of the country's most prominent. He denounced the opposition's obsession during Question Time, as we heard, with carbon tax and asylum seekers, two debates that you have pushed relentlessly for the 2-year time period that he described, and an opposition of which you are the leader. Malcolm Turnbull said, and I quote, "It is a particularly perilous time for a deficit in either policy or vision." That is another direct attack on your leadership. His lack of respect for your job as opposition leader is palpable. Is he after your job?
Lisa, I spoke to Malcolm on a number of occasions about this speech.
Yesterday?
I thought it was an interesting and an elegant speech. Malcolm showed me a copy of the speech. We had a dialogue about it.
What sort of dialogue did you have?
We are not a Stalinist party. I think Malcolm was perfectly entitled to give the Winterton oration. What he said was a perfectly reasonable take on current politics. There was a lot of truth in what Malcolm said. Of course, Question Time is a bit of a disaster because you've got a Prime Minister who just doesn't tell the truth,
but
a Treasurer who just doesn't tell the truth.
You are driving the talk on the carbon tax and asylum seekers, and he thinks that that is not what people are interested in.
They're not the only things that people are interested in.
So why does it take up so much of Question Time?
Because these are the two biggest failures of this government. This is a government which has monumentally failed to control our borders. We have had record months for the last 2 months when it comes to illegal boat arrivals, and this is a government which is introducing a bad tax based on a lie. So, of course, these are the main Question Time preoccupations. They're not necessarily the only things the public are interested in.
But if you were getting it so right, why aren't your numbers as preferred PM higher? You are so critical of the Prime Minister. You believe that she is on the nose. Why then is she ahead in the polls as preferred PM?
Well, I'll leave you to speculate on that, Lisa.
Well, it looks like Malcolm Turnbull is speculating upon it. The Prime Minister looks like she may call an early election. Do you think Malcolm Turnbull is looking at the timing of this and thinking you're 10% ahead on a two-party preferred basis, but you can't get the numbers up?
I think if the Prime Minister were to call an early election, most Australians would cheer. Most Australians would cheer, Lisa.
And Malcolm Turnbull might as well, because he might see a job opportunity.
Well, Malcolm is going to be a very good communications minister in the next coalition government.
Doesn't sound like that's what the job is after.
That is a marvellous job to have, because there is a lot of work to do to ensure that Australia gets faster broadband far more efficiently and affordably than they will under the $50 billion national broadband network white elephant.
So between now and the federal election we can expect more speeches like this from Malcolm Turnbull?
We are not a Stalinist party, Lisa.
So
I encourage
you're more than
debate.
happy for him to criticise you?
Well, it was a very elegant and an interesting speech.
But are you going to move the focus during Question Time off carbon tax and asylum seekers?
We will keep the focus relentlessly on the failures of the government, and the two most important failures of this government are their border protection failures and the toxic tax based on a lie.
All right. Well, speaking of senior MPs stepping outside party lines this week, Barnby Joyce did exactly the same thing over your support of the sale of Cubbie Station to a Chinese consortium. What he said was, if the ownership of one of Australia's biggest properties, a property responsible for in excess of 10% of our nation's cotton crop, is not in our national interest, then the national interest is a farce. Now, a lot of voters are concerned in the community about the government literally selling off the farm, but you think this is okay?
Look, we have a very strong policy on foreign investment. We support foreign investment. It's got to be in the national interest, and there is a process for determining whether the national interest is in fact being advanced. It goes before the Foreign Investment Review Board, then it goes to the Treasurer. The Treasurer often will impose conditions on the sale, and that's exactly what happened in this particular case.
So you applaud Wayne Swan for that move?
No, I think that it's important that we have a process. There is a process. The Coalition supports a good, defensible, transparent process.
OK. Have you had words with Barnby Joyce?
I talk to Barnby all the time. I talk to Malcolm all the time. I talk to my colleagues all the time. Have you spoken to Barnby Joyce
since he stepped outside of party lines and once again criticised you this week?
Well, Lisa, you're making a lot of pretty wild assertions today in this interview.
Well, he made it very clear that he did not support the party policy on this issue, and that is also a criticism of you.
Could I please get a word in?
Please, go ahead.
You've done a lot of talking this morning, Lisa, and you're entitled to talk.
Well,
it's your programme.
I think a lot of people want to know what's going on inside the Coalition and whether or not you will still be leader come the election.
Lisa, Barnby made a lot of criticisms of the Treasurer this week. He said that the Treasurer had rushed through this decision at 5 o'clock on a Friday afternoon. He said that the Treasurer hadn't properly explained it. He said that a lot of people were baffled as to why this was in the national interest. That's what Barnby said. Now, Barnby is entitled to feel dismayed about this. He is a local, but the important thing for the Coalition is that we do have a strong and clear policy on which everyone has agreed. You've got to have a process. We support foreign investment, but it does have to be in the national interest. OK. Thank you very much for your time this morning. That's a pleasure, Lisa. And I look forward to getting a little bit more to say next time.
OK. Good luck with that. Just ask Carl. Just quickly, your sister is running for local politics tomorrow. What are her chances?
I think her chances are good. She's an outstanding candidate. I've been on the hustings with her this week. She's a natural. OK. Look forward to seeing the result of that. I do thank you for your time this morning. Thank you, Lisa. You will get more time next time. I look forward to that.